Listen carefully, my friend, because what I'm about to share might be the single idea that clears the fog from your mind and leads you toward your greatest success. Have you ever felt trapped by your own thoughts, caught in invisible webs that hold you back, confuse your judgment and blur your purpose? Pause right here, because those invisible strands are real. I call them mental cobwebs. They are the silent saboteurs within your mind. Fears, prejudices, self-doubt, anger, laziness, and all those little habits that quietly whisper, "You can't." And if you let them, they'll spin their webs until your mind can no longer think straight. Now here's the truth most people never realize. You are not your thoughts, but you are what you think most of the time. Let that sink in, because the moment you grasp it, you unlock control over your destiny. When your thoughts are pure, your life becomes powerful. When your thoughts are tangled, your actions become weak. Ask yourself, when was the last time you examined your thinking? Not your goals, not your dreams, but your actual thinking process. Because your mind, my friend, is like a room. If you don't clean it regularly, dust gathers, cobwebs form, and light can no longer shine through. That's exactly what happens when you let negative emotions take over your mental space. And here's the first truth you must face. No one else can clean your mind for you. Not your family, not your friends, not even your mentor. Only you can sweep away those mental cobwebs. Listen closely, because I learned this the hard way. There was a time in my life when my thinking was clouded by frustration and pride. I thought I knew all the answers. I thought my logic was flawless, but I was wrong. It wasn't until I began to practice what I now call accurate thinking that everything changed. And accurate thinking begins with one question. What is truth? You see, accurate thinking is not just being smart. It is the ability to separate fact from fiction, reality from assumption, emotion from logic. It is the art of seeing the world as it truly is, not as your fears want you to see it. Here's a powerful truth. Emotion and reason must live in balance. If emotion rules your life, chaos will follow. But if you let logic alone lead you, you'll never dare to take the leaps that success demands. Listen, because this is important. Sometimes, reason fears what your heart already knows is right. I once read about a philosopher who listed every reason not to sail to a distant city. Danger, storms, pirates, sickness, yet he still went. Why? Because he wanted to. That's the secret few people understand. Desire itself is a form of divine guidance. When your reason says no, but your inner desire burns bright, perhaps it's not foolishness, perhaps it's faith in motion. But here's the problem. Most people never learn to tell the difference between a wise desire and a destructive impulse. And that's where mental cobwebs do their work. They whisper confusion into your ears, mixing faith with fear, logic with laziness, and courage with recklessness. If you wish to succeed, you must learn to see clearly. Now let me ask you, what cobwebs have formed in your thinking lately? Is it resentment? Is it fear of failure? Is it the belief that success belongs only to the lucky? Sweep it out. Sweep it all out right now. Because no matter how much talent, money, or opportunity you have, it's useless if your mind is clouded. Your mind must be as clear as a mirror that reflects only truth. And the tool that polishes this mirror is called PMA. Positive mental attitude. With PMA, you begin to see every obstacle as an opportunity, every problem as a lesson, every criticism as fuel for improvement. Stop blaming circumstances. Start examining your thoughts, because the world outside you is only a reflection of the world inside you. Let me repeat that. The world outside you is only a reflection of the world inside you. If you live with mental clutter, you'll see chaos everywhere. But if you clear your thoughts, the universe itself seems to align in your favor. Now you may be thinking, how do I clear these cobwebs? The answer is simple, but it requires discipline. First, catch yourself thinking. Notice your internal voice. Is it negative, doubtful, or afraid? Second, question it. Ask, is this fact or fiction? And third, replace it. Substitute every "I can't" with "I will." Every "maybe" with "definitely." Because words are not mere sounds, they are seeds planted in the soil of your subconscious mind. Every word you speak grows into a belief. Every belief becomes a habit, and every habit builds or destroys your destiny. So guard your words as you guard your fortune. Now let me give you a small secret. Your subconscious mind doesn't argue. It obeys. Whatever command you give it, through emotion, repetition, or faith, it accepts as truth. If you tell yourself you are weak, it will make you weaker. But if you declare, I am powerful, capable, and destined for greatness, your subconscious will move heaven and earth to make it real. So speak only what you wish to live. And when the cobwebs of doubt return, as they always will, remember this: you are stronger than your habits, wiser than your fears, and bigger than your circumstances. No matter what the world tells you, you have the power to think clearly. You have the power to choose your thoughts, and that single choice, to think clean, clear, and accurately, separates the achievers from the defeated, the leaders from the lost. So, my friend, before you take another step toward your goal, pause for a moment. Look inside your mind. Are there cobwebs there? Sweep them out, because until you do, no plan, no dream, no success formula will work. But once your thinking is clear, your potential becomes limitless. And when your potential is limitless, you become unstoppable. Because a clean mind is the workshop of miracles. A clear mind is a factory of miracles. But what most people forget is that every factory needs maintenance. The machinery of your mind must be tuned, cleaned, and inspected daily, or rust will take over. Listen carefully, because this is where most people lose the game of life. They allow their minds to run on autopilot. They let emotions control their direction and wonder why their lives feel chaotic. Let me tell you the truth. If you don't discipline your thoughts will discipline you. The greatest discovery I ever made was realizing that every emotion must pass through the filter of accurate thinking before you let it decide your actions. Think of your emotions as powerful horses. They can carry you to the peak of success or throw you into the pit of failure. The reins are your logical thinking. Hold them tightly but wisely. Now don't misunderstand me. I am not saying emotion is your enemy. Emotion is divine energy. It gives life to your ideas, courage to your dreams, and passion to your purpose. But when emotion runs wild without direction, it becomes destruction in disguise. Every successful man or woman you have ever admired had one hidden ability. They thought accurately, even when their emotions burned like fire. They didn't allow temporary feelings to make permanent decisions. They trained their minds to see truth beyond emotion. Let me give you a secret that few ever master. Truth does not shout, it whispers. To hear that whisper, your mind must be calm. When your mind is crowded with fear, anger, and jealousy, you cannot hear truth's voice. It's like trying to read a book during an earthquake. You must first silence the inner noise. So how do you achieve that calm? Begin with observation. Start watching your own thoughts like a scientist observes an experiment. When anger rises, don't fight it. Observe it. When fear appears, don't deny it. Understand it. Because when you observe your emotions without reacting, you rise above them. And from that higher place, you can think clearly. Every moment of awareness is like sweeping dust off the mirror of your mind. Each time you choose understanding over reaction, your thinking becomes sharper. Now let's go deeper. There are two invisible forces fighting inside every human being. One wants peace and the other wants drama. The peaceful force pushes you toward clarity, patience, and logic. The dramatic force pulls you toward gossip, anger, and chaos. Whichever one you feed with your attention grows stronger. That's why I often say, your attention is the most valuable currency you possess. Spend it wisely, because whatever you pay attention to becomes your reality. If you constantly focus on fear, you'll start seeing danger in every opportunity. But if you focus on possibility, you'll start seeing opportunity in every challenge. Remember this law: you attract what you think about most. You cannot hold a negative thought and expect positive results. The soil of your mind will grow whatever seeds you plant. Faith or fear, courage or doubt, hope or despair. So the real question is not whether the law works, but what seeds you are planting daily. Most people never stop to ask themselves, is this thought serving me or enslaving me? Ask it now, because one honest answer can change your entire life. I once met a man who had all the knowledge of success but none of its results. I asked him, "What do you think about most of the time?" He said, "About how I always fail." There was his answer. He was using the power of thought against himself. He had not cleared the cobwebs of failure from his mind. You see, failure is not an event, it's a thought pattern. And when you repeat that pattern often enough, it becomes your identity. But identity can be rewritten. The moment you choose to think differently, your brain begins to rewire itself. Science now confirms what I taught decades ago. You become what you habitually think. So if you wish to change your destiny, you must first change your daily thinking habits. Let me ask you, how many of your thoughts today were positive, productive, and purpose-driven? And how many were repetitive, fearful, and automatic? Most minds live on autopilot, replaying the same worry, the same anger, the same memory, day after day, year after year. But a disciplined thinker creates new thought patterns daily. Each morning, he cleans his mental slate and writes new beliefs upon it. Beliefs of power, gratitude, and vision. Every night, he reviews his thoughts like a manager audits a company, removing waste, keeping value, and planning improvement. This is what I call mental hygiene. You brush your teeth daily, but when was the last time you brushed your thoughts? A clean mind smells like confidence. A dirty mind stinks of confusion. So start your mornings by affirming clarity. Say to yourself, "Today, I think clearly. I act wisely. I decide powerfully." Don't wait for the world to be positive. Create positivity within you, and the world will follow your inner order. Now let's address another form of mental cobweb: self-deception. Self-deception is the cleverest thief of success. It makes you believe you're right, even when you're wrong. It blinds you with pride, so you can't see your own mistakes. But accurate thinkers welcome correction. They seek truth more than ego. They would rather be right in reality than look right in appearance. So I ask you now, when was the last time you challenged your own opinion? When was the last time you said to yourself, "Maybe I'm not seeing the full picture"? That single moment of humility can open the gates of wisdom. Because truth never fears investigation, it only fears ignorance. And that brings us to the golden key: intellectual humility. A humble mind learns faster, sees deeper, and grows stronger. When you admit that your understanding may be incomplete, the universe begins to teach you. But the proud mind stops learning, and the day you stop learning is the day you start decaying. So keep your mind open, clear, and teachable. Remove pride, and wisdom will enter. Remove fear, and courage will bloom. Remove anger, and peace will stay. Because the clearer your mind, the stronger your power of creation. And remember, every miracle begins first as a thought. Guard that thought. Polish it. Believe in it. Because when your thoughts are pure, your destiny cannot be denied. When your thoughts are pure, your destiny cannot be denied. But purity of thought does not mean the absence of challenge. It means the presence of power. It means you control your inner weather even when the world outside is in storm. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to share could determine the next chapter of your life. Most people fail not because they lack knowledge, but because they allow confusion to rule their judgment. Clarity is the master key. It opens every locked door of opportunity. And clarity begins with one question: what exactly do I want? If you cannot define your desire, how can the universe deliver it? A foggy goal creates a foggy life. A clear vision creates a clear path. You must learn to translate your dreams into definite purposes. The world does not respond to vague wishes. It responds to precise intentions. Every great achiever I have ever known had a mind laser-focused on one purpose. They woke up thinking about it, worked through pain for it, and slept dreaming of it. And do you know the difference between dreamers and achievers? Achievers think clearly under pressure. When the average man sees obstacles, the clear thinker sees a map. When others say, "I don't know what to do," the clear thinker calmly says, "Let's find out." That attitude, calm, confident, logical, is the fruit of a disciplined mind. And a disciplined mind is not born. It is trained. Train your mind like an athlete trains his body. Practice clarity every day. When confusion attacks, write things down. put your thoughts on paper. The act of writing turns chaos into order. And when fear strikes, ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? You will realize that most fears are shadows of imagination, not realities of life. Let me tell you something powerful. Fear feeds on uncertainty, but clarity starves it to death. That's why clarity must become your daily habit. Each morning, sit in silence for 5 minutes and ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What do I truly want? 2. Why do I want it? 3. What step will I take today toward it? Write the answers. Review them nightly. Do this consistently for 30 days, and your life will begin to reorganize itself around your clarity. Because the moment your mind is clear, your energy aligns, your focus sharpens, and your results multiply. Now listen closely. Clear thinking is not only about your goals, it's also about your relationships, your communication, your service to others. Many people ruin opportunities because they react emotionally rather than think intelligently. They let anger send messages that wisdom could have written better. A clear thinker listens before speaking, observes before judging, and understands before acting. This habit alone can turn enemies into allies, losses into lessons, and failures into foundations. Remember, the clearer your communication, the deeper your influence. You cannot inspire others with confusion. You inspire them with conviction, and conviction comes from one place: a mind that knows what it stands for. So stand for truth, stand for excellence, stand for growth, because when you stand for something higher, life begins to lift you higher. Let me share a secret that the greats of every age understood. Clarity is spiritual power. It connects you with the intelligence of the universe, the same intelligence that moves planets, grows forests, and beats your heart without your command. When your mind is quiet and clear, you become a channel for that universal intelligence. Ideas flow to you, solutions appear, people and opportunities align mysteriously in your favor. But the moment you allow negativity, arrogance, or doubt to cloud your thinking, that connection weakens. So guard your clarity like sacred fire. Protect it from gossip, from fear, from the opinions of small minds. Because every time you argue with negativity, you feed it. And every time you rise above it, you strengthen your light. Now let's talk about service, because clear thinking without service is selfishness, disguised as wisdom. Your clarity must not only help you, it must help others. When your vision includes the benefit of others, your success gains momentum that cannot be stopped. A selfish dream burns fast and fades. A purpose that serves others burns forever. That's why the most successful people always ask, how can I add more value? They understand that service is not a burden. It's the fuel of true success. Because when you help others rise, you rise too. When you clear the cobwebs from your mind, you begin to see that everything in this universe is connected. No act of kindness is wasted. No good intention goes unrewarded. The universe echoes back the energy you send out. So send out clarity, send out confidence, send out light, and watch how your life transforms. My friend, this journey of clearing your mind is not a one-time act. It is a lifelong discipline. Every day, new cobwebs will try to form. Fear, doubt, negativity, distraction. But every day, you must sweep them away with awareness, faith, and purpose. Because clarity is not something you find, it's something you create. And when you create clarity, you create power. Now, before I leave you, I want you to remember something very sacred. You are not a product of confusion. You are a child of divine intelligence. You were born with the power to think clearly, to decide wisely, and to live greatly. The only thing standing between you and your destiny is the fog of your own thoughts. So rise today. Open the windows of your mind. Let the light in. And as that light shines, may it remove every cobweb of fear, every dust of doubt, and every shadow of limitation. Because once your mind is clear, your soul becomes unstoppable. And when your soul becomes unstoppable, your success becomes inevitable. So walk in clarity, speak in truth, act with love, and remember my final words. A clear mind is the voice of God whispering through you. Honor it, trust it, and the world will honor you.